welcome back to Celebrity with Nene. So I'm Nene, and today I have Reese and Jerome with me, and we will be doing a recap on Love After Lockup, Season 4, Episode 42. Okay, so this was last Friday's episode. All right, so I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right in. So the first couple that we are going to discuss is going to be Monique and Derek. All righty, so when their scenes open up, it's actually the next day. Monique lets us know that they did not have any kind of sexual activity last night due to Derek's cheating, which I can understand. She says she wants him to get a test first, which is completely understandable if this man is out here acting a fool like this. And then she had made a statement. I was like, she said that he cheated on her within 7 days of him getting out of jail. Were they saying last season was the span of 7 days? That's all. Or did he cheat while she was there still? So I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. Alrighty. And so we see that Derek has got them breakfast and he has brought back a pregnancy test with the breakfast. So he brings her a croissant and a pregnancy test and is like, hey, I want you to take this. And he basically says he thinks that she could be playing games because she wants all of his attention. And then he also reveals to her that he wants her to take the test because he has already been tricked by another woman claiming to be pregnant. So he reveals to Monique that one of the girls that he cheated on claimed that she might be pregnant. So that upsets Monique, which is understandable. Like, you've been out cheating on me to the point where somebody thinks they're pregnant by you. She was like, oh, you just out here wilding out. You don't care about STDs, nothing. And so she agrees to take the pregnancy test. I don't know why I keep wanting to call it a paternity test, but she agrees to take the pregnancy test and tells him that he also needs to take a test, which is understandable. And so she, of course, takes the test. Derek actually was like, do you need me to go in there with you? I guess he is just gung ho that she's going to do something to try to trick him and trap him. Of course, the test comes back and it's negative. And then we see Derek reveals to us that he actually cheated on her with like 10 women. I was like, oh, Derek was busy. He's been very, very busy. All right, so then it's later in the day, and we see that they meet up with her two sisters. And her sisters meet Derek for the first time. Of course, they have a lot of questions for Derek. Derek actually invites Monique and her sisters to come to his birthday party that's going to be held at one of his sisters' houses. So, of course, they're leery. I don't blame them. I probably would have turned down the invitation as soon as he gave it to me. Like, why do I want to go around them? They have threatened to slap me, threatened to beat me up. They threatened to unalive her. So now I'm supposed to walk into her house? What is she going to do there? She'll have all her weapons there. She'll probably have some friends to help her get me. All right. And so he tells them about the pregnancy scare, which I'm sorry, I know I keep butting in with my own opinions as I'm saying this, but I was just like, what are you hoping to gain by telling them this? That is something private between you and Monique. Why do they need to know about the pregnancy scare? All right, and he reveals to us because he actually ends up getting up and walking away from the table. He has like 3 or 4 phones because he said Monique has a tracker on the one that she gave him. So he's got one for her, one for his family, there's one for the ladies. He's got all these phones. Alrighty, and so yeah, that was pretty much Derek and Monique this week. Thoughts on them?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, well, I said from basically episode 1 of Derek that he wasn't gonna be good with, as far as she goes, and he's proven that day by day. And when she came with the pregnancy thing, well, first when he found out, he was like, "Oh, I guess." And now it's like, "No, we're gonna make sure it's mine first. I'll make sure you really are pregnant. Not mine, but make sure you really are pregnant and you ain't trying to trap me." But how you trying to trap somebody that you're supposed to be with already? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
and he has a ring for her already.
Get engaged. Yeah.
Yeah. So So she's worried about not. And I was like, "What? Which? Right, bruh, you didn't earn that. You can't keep messing up." But he seems like he's a real deflector. He keeps doing all this stuff, but then want to find things to nitpick on her. Fast forward to meeting the sisters. I mean, even that meeting the sisters, they had legitimate questions. Now they were aggressive in the questioning, but you know what? At this point, we're like, we tried talking to our sister. Our sister's like, "Well, I'm gonna give him another chance." How many times have I heard I'm gonna give him another chance throughout this season so far? How
Right.
many chances are there? And then she's talking about even though he's still messing up and finding out that with somebody else unprotected, that I'm still planning on moving there, and I just wanted to let y'all know, you know. And then the way they talked about having the party at his sister's house, uh, and he's like, "I just wanted to be over. I just wanted to be done." But you're not taking accountability that it's your sister starting. Like she's not allowed to react when they do this stuff. And I
Mm,
think she's did quite well compared to the
she
average
really
person
has.
with their heads.
Yeah.
But
Because
you're
him
still saying,
and
well,
his sisters would have seen my toxic side by now. Sorry.
yes,
But it's- mm,
definitely. And I would have had to came in and I would have took on one of the sisters myself because we'll have some of the same anyway. But but yeah, um, he keeps saying, "I just want them to get along." Talking about Monique did stuff, his sisters did stuff. No, your sister started the stuff, and then He talked about the other sisters. The other sister said, "We didn't start this. They started talking about our sister on social media." So he's ignoring the idea that the reality that they started it. He's looking at their reactions, but it's like if you checked your sisters from day one instead of trying to say it's even, a lot of that would have been taken care of then. But you never checked it because it's your sisters,
mhm.
and you got to own up to that. And last but not least, when he goes out to the end and showing all the phones, that just proves what I said when we first started. He ain't no good. He's with her because out of the list, she's the one that'll take care of him best. And he said it then. Well, I messed with this person because I didn't know if you was going to be there, so you kept options open. Nah.
Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you, Jerome. Okay, Racy.
He said it perfect.
Mhm.
I was really like a piece of me was just still hoping that maybe just maybe up until the end of last season that Derek wasn't as bad as everybody was like, oh, he gonna play you and everybody thought it because she's of her size, and I
Mhm.
said that's not fair,
It's not.
but it's almost like he's still proving the public right if everything he's doing is legit, like this is really what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like if this is fake and it's for show, I don't know. But if it's real, it's messed up because first of all, just like she was gonna find out, like she said, you never told me about the cheating, so I don't know if she found out because of the season aired, you know what I'm saying, and she saw it,
Yeah.
or if he actually said something after the fact or what the deal was. But this dude admitted that he's with more than 10 women. He's like, I've been with like about 10 women since she left. Like, that's
Yeah.
nasty. Because I don't think she'd been gone that long, right? What she said,
I
a
don't
month?
think so.
Mm-mm.
Like a month or so? Like
Yeah. I think it's been a
that's to
month, is
me,
what she had said.
30
that's
days.
too much. And
Yeah. That's entirely too much.
it's like, come on now. Okay, you got caught back up with that one who you was working with or whatever, the correctional officer, whatever. I'm not saying that's okay, but outside of that situation, there's more. Like, and then he wasn't honest with her because she was like, "Is there more?" And he didn't say. Then at the table, he admitted it because he was like plural and and whatever.
Mm,
But I'm like, that's why would you tell her that then? Because this is something that I feel like if she wanted her sisters to know that it was plural, she would have told them or give her the
yeah.
opportunity to say it, not you, because then that makes their opinion of you worse, as well as you just made her look stupid again. So of course I'm gonna be like, you didn't know he had plural. He just told us. Oh, so what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And that's why
Right.
they hate him even more. So it's like I
Mm,
just don't really get what he's doing. And then when he took his phone, now because of how she is with his phone, if he had a second phone, it's not surprising because I feel like what man really lets you look at his phone like that? Even a woman, like I just don't know of anybody who's like, you got a tracker, you monitor my calls, you told me, oh, huh? What was that?
No, I was handing over my phone. I was messing with you. Go ahead.
So you got a tracker on the phone. You got you know what I'm saying? You track his minutes and be like, oh, you talk for this many minutes. Now, again, I'll tell y'all, I got real toxic at one point. There was only one person whose phone, like, I got into their account and I could see all that stuff. But I don't doubt that they didn't use an app to make calls or did some other kind of way to make calls. Because I'm like, there's no way that when I said stop, because of the activity I saw, that this person was really stopping. And they weren't. They found other ways. So, like, maybe even he had another phone. So I feel like she kind of silly if she didn't think he had another phone, if all of a sudden he was perfect, but yeah, you found out he was cheating. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but the fact that he put out 3 phones, I'm like, okay, that's overkill. Like, if you ain't got no job, you putting out more than 2 phones, you ain't got no job. You say you out that lifestyle that you was in that got you put in jail. I'm like, he's doing too much now. I'm like, now I wish she could move on because
Yeah.
she deserves better.
Mm-hmm.
And unless this is fake. But if this is real, she need to move on. This dude is garbage, man. I'm like, even if he pays for his own stuff,
Yeah.
even if he apologizes, even if he does this, like, I'm not gonna go to your sister's house because you didn't check them when they were disrespectful outside of being in person. So what, you gonna let them fight me in person? Well, now she got her sisters.
Yeah. And then you're on her territory. You're in her
Yeah,
home.
yeah.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, because if something
Right.
happens, and they could also pull like a self-defense type thing, and then you get in trouble if something happens to them, like you in their home fighting them and they didn't got hurt or, unalived or something, then you go to jail
Mm-hmm.
because of that. But then they could turn it around and get out of it as self-defense.
Yeah.
But my thing, the only smart part about it is that her sisters are here this time, and them girls are like, they don't play either. So like, I already know Monique don't play. Like Monique Ben said, like, she'll fight that girl, and
Yeah.
that's a big woman. And the sister didn't seem like she's playing no games either in that first season. When they first showed her, when she sent those texts and all that stuff, and the sister was going off. So I'm like, I'm confident. I really believe that them 3 together could take whoever they wanted to in that house. It's just we don't know about weapons and all that stuff because it's not your territory.
Yeah.
But that's not fair to them. Like, if you're gonna have a party for you, have them have it at a neutral area.
Well, exactly. It needs to be a neutral
Yeah,
public
yeah,
location.
rent out something
Preferably
like that.
one that has closed circuit cameras.
Yeah, preferably. But if you're not, then a public park, like a restaurant. I don't know if I do that because that's too close in. Them girls together. Probably like some sort of, maybe a room you can rent out or something where it's
Like a
still gonna be
banquet hall or something.
yeah, like people will be there, but yeah, at the same time, you could get away with it if a fight broke out, like without the whole place knowing. You know what I mean? Because if you do it at a restaurant and break out, then you got everybody pulling out cameras, and no, that's even worse. So I just feel like,
A lot
and
of
then the fact
property
that the
damage
sisters
at
even
a restaurant.
said, like, they were like, if we go, so we know they're gonna go. We set that up for us to know. They say if we go, so they're going. But is that smart? I don't think so. And
Yeah.
would I trust him after he's shown he don't have your back? Like they said,
No, because
dude
I'm
is
telling you, me and my Reese, I'd be like, Reese, we're not going.
yeah.
We are not going.
I
And
would
then
only say
he's
let's go
already
and be ready for it. Like, let's
and then
go.
my other issue with it is he's already shown Monique he won't stand up for her. So if I get to your party and your sister starts a mess, I know you're gonna be like, just calm down. Like, no,
See,
it's the time. The time is now.
and that's the
I need
thing
your
is,
sisters.
I feel
Yeah.
like these sisters would be just like I would be. Like it was when when my brother-in-law passed and we saw the chick that ex, she was looking at like, what you looking at? You know what I'm saying? Like you don't speak to her, don't speak to me. Like she fight, we fight. we see me, we see me, see her. That's how it's gonna be. So it's like, hey, we get beat up, we getting beat up together. If we beat your butt, we gonna beat it together. And if we go to jail, we going to jail together. So like, you gonna take both of us? You know what I'm saying? Or shoot, at that point, I was like, I get her because I was like feeling some kind of way about that chick. So that's why I'm like, when you got those kind of feelings, it's best not to even go to them situations. Because like, I think that the night that I'm talking about, Nene, I was ready, but that wasn't
Yeah.
even. That's
I know you
that's
was.
being crazy.
That's why I kept my eye on you. I was watching you more than I was watching her.
Yeah, actually,
I
I know she
knew.
didn't want it. She didn't.
I knew my sister was like, my sister wasn't gonna play. And that girl
Not when
did
it came
so.
to some of that stuff that happened. But that's for a whole nother video. That's more of a story time. But that chick didn't want it.
Yeah,
Like she
that
didn't want it, and she was
that would be a
disrespectful
story
and
time.
wrong and everything she did. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why she took off running once we got there.
Hmm. But that's the way they are. They
Mm,
wrong. Like if your brother's saying I want to be with this person, you ain't gotta like her, but just accept it, or don't go to the events or the places he going with her, and let him know like I can't support that because I think she's playing, but she's not doing him wrong. He's doing her wrong. So what is it that y'all support? Y'all not supporting.
mm,
Unless you
And
say I don't support you treating her like that, but that's not the case. They want him to treat her like that.
yeah, they want
that's
him
what
to be with somebody else. Yeah.
And that's why I say at the end of the day, if you already got to track somebody, they already being passive. They're not taking up for you, and allowing his sister to sit there and disrespect you.
Mm-hmm.
What is the second chance for? What is? I mean, we're on chance number 12 now. At this point, I ain't even mad at the sisters. I ain't even mad at
No,
whatever.
because he's letting
He's
them get away. Yeah.
letting them get away, and he's taking advantage of her, not just because of just her size, but it just seems like her esteem, and he sees that and he preys on it. He knows I can sit here. I'm going to the moon. Okay, baby, just be back shortly. That's the kind of
Or take
attitude
your
it
phone
is.
Right.
with you, but you got two phones, so it looked like you went to the moon, but you went to the moon with somebody else and you used another phone.
Mm-hmm. You was at Uranus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he set his phone down at the moon, so she thought he was at the moon. He took the other phone and went to Uranus with the girl.
Mhm. All right, so that was Monique and Derek this week. All right, so our next couple was Sean and the Hoe. I mean, Sean and Sarah. Okay, so um, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and preface this. Sarah, she ain't shit. She ain't. She ain't. And she wants to cheat on Sean so badly that y'all know I don't have a lot of what's the words? With Sean, y'all know I'm not gonna defend him. I don't have a lot going for him because I think he is a POS. He got a bunch of kids that he didn't take care of. He treated his ex like crap. And now he's with this girl, and she is, I feel like, his karma. Because y'all see how badly she treats him, and she's treating him that way because she really want to bust it down for her ex. That's what she wants. And so everything this man does now gets on your nerves. He was a POS father, and you knew that. And his ex tried to tell you everything that Kelly tried to tell her, he is doing now. So you can't even sit there and cry, oh, he's not helping me with the kids. Well, you knew he didn't help his ex with the kids. He's not doing a lot. You knew he did that with his ex. But you were so quick to dismiss her as a bitter baby mama. But now you're crying about the same things. While at the same time, you're entertaining your ex talking about how good the sex was. What? You and your ex have nothing. Y'all should be discussing your daughter that he abandoned. Okay, so let me get into them because otherwise I'm gonna keep going. She made me so mad this episode. All right, so we see Sarah has arrived at the coffee shop where she was supposed to be meeting her ex-boyfriend slash her baby daddy. All righty, and so it turns out that he actually does not come to the shop because he's in rehab. He has checked himself into rehab. However, his sister shows up and she lets Sarah know that he's in rehab and that he is going to call on the phone and talk to her. And so he ends up calling. He does a video call or a Facebook call, whatever. But he was on the phone screen and he was talking, being real disrespectful to a married woman. So he reveals, he's like, I know you got married. So clearly she has been communicating with him, but never bothered to tell him she's got a husband. Trifling. I'm sorry. That's just trifling to me. And I don't know that she even revealed she's had another baby. Even more trifling if that's what she has not done. All right. And so they are being flirty and, just talking. He is being flirty with her. He even tells her that he feels like her marriage is not going to work and that her husband cannot love her the way that he loved her. She's a hoe. She is a hoe. I'm sorry. I just can't. All right. And so then she ends up going home to her husband, whom she's acting like she just can't stand. He can't do nothing right in her eyes. He even tried to eat a cookie, And of course, he did drop some crumbs, but it was like, you dropping crumbs, you doing that. Like, you're annoyed with him because you don't want him anymore. Or at least, I'm not going to even necessarily say you don't want him anymore, but somebody else has caught your attention. That's where that is coming from. And so now you're mistreating this man. And so they end up actually arguing because after he dropped cookie crumbs on the floor, he went to go get on the game to play the game with his son. And so she's all in his face and yanked his headphones off of his head. And, she's arguing with him. Sean is apologizing to her, but she's complaining about that's what he always does. He apologizes, but then he goes back to doing exactly what he's been doing. All right. And so after he apologizes to her, he goes back downstairs and he gets on the game. And then here she comes to get in his face again. All right. So I'm going to leave them alone because I'm going to get heated just thinking about what was going on. So, thoughts on Sean and Sarah this week?
I try to keep a straight face for this. At the end of the day, you got a husband that's a POS, and you got a baby that's a pile of it. So it's like, which one's the lesser of the two? Now, in her case, yeah, I knew once she went over there and she wasn't getting the attention she wanted or felt that she needed because she did deserve more attention. She decided that the next thing to do was to go to the baby dad. Once you go there and the sister has to come, and it's like, I feel like you'll be the better person. Let's admit the worst. We would have worked out just fine if I just would have left the drink. Okay, that's the red flag right there. That's not just like I wore the wrong clothes or you had a whole problem.
Yeah.
And I can love you better than he can. Now, I'll say, he's not taking care of home like Sean's not taking care of home like he should, but he makes sure the bills are paid and things are covered in that sort. You can't make sure bills are covered sitting in rehab.
I was going to ask you from a man's perspective. The baby daddy, when he was like, it was only because I was doing drugs. Did that feel like a generic apology to you? Because I felt like it was generic, but she ate it up and was ready to pop lock and drop it for him.
Yes, that was a very, very generic response. That was like, but it wasn't generic. It was downplayed.
Okay.
You made it,
yeah.
You make it sound like it wasn't that big. It's like saying the only reason because I just would just slap you around a few times. That's the only problem we had. Like, that's not that big. And even when she realized that he wasn't even talking about the kid and was talking on a level of, I don't care if you're married. I don't care about this. I'm still going to be here. And you sat here and basically entertained that. You right there follow that status of, like you said, of being a hoe, because you're more in love with, you're disgusted with your husband, but you was in love with the toxic, but the toxic is what messed you up in the first place. As far as Sean goes, yeah. Now I'm gonna tell you, yes, he is sitting here trying. He made the crumbs, and she was nag in his ear. But sometimes you can't be, and she's right. You can't be on that game every day. If she's cleaning, you got to take time and play with the kid. I understand you got a son that you're playing the game with, but sometimes you got to, babies still need attention. They still want to be sat on the lap, bounced on the lap. Hey, how you doing? Why she's not having, because she's having a mop and have the baby right next to, which was, I hope she wasn't mopping with bleach. Got the baby right down the floor while she was cleaning the floor. But take the baby so she can clean or just get a little break. I understand you've been to work all day too, but I mean, even me, I'll be tired when I come in, but that's the first face I want to see when I get home. So yeah, he is wrong for that. That he uses his son because he likes to be on a video game. At the end of the day, you can take care of home, but I will still fault Sean. Like you said, if he wasn't a parent before, he probably gonna be one now. But you got to sit there and show your wife and your newborn child attention. But it doesn't excuse her behavior.
All right, so what do you think about Sean and the hoe?
I don't blame her. Um,
You don't blame her for wanting to cheat?
mhm, mhm,
Okay.
I don't. And the reason being, hold on, one second. um, Sorry about that. The reason being that I don't see nothing wrong. Like I see something wrong with cheating on your husband. Period. Point blank. That's not cool. I don't think she was going with the intention of cheating that day or anything like that. I think she just wanted some attention. And I feel like if they always say like what one person won't do. Not to say the grass is green on the other side, because obviously this dude got issues. You done dealt with
Yeah.
him before. Grass may not be greener to go back to him. It may not. It may, because maybe he was loving, but he was lacking the areas that Sean does have, which is why she's like, I don't want to end the divorce. I don't want to end our marriage. I want you to actually do better. But I feel like because you know that's still an important thing, like to want to like. So she didn't marry him for companionship. She married him because she was in love with him, and he acted like he was in love with her. Now that they've gotten married, he's changed. Usually, that's what the woman does, and that's what men complain about. Like she said, men are usually the ones saying, "Oh, you never want to do, you never want to be intimate," but it's him, and she's like, "What kind of mess is that?" Because that's not common. You know what I'm saying? And then if you're really tired, then go to bed. But instead, you get on the game. And my problem with him getting on the game, set up a time like, hey, on the weekends we'll play from this time to this time, or maybe Monday and Wednesday, Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday. Set some times aside like that's specifically for me and my son to go play the game because this is what we do together. But you got 6 kids. When are you spending up time, this much time? You know what I'm saying? Like this one son is so important to you. 6, 7 kids, because you got that baby sitting right there that he told me I did interact with her. And all he said was, "Hey, little baby," or "Hey, little girl," and then walked away. And if that's what you consider interaction, like you are really a crappy dad. So you really only gonna cater to the ones that meet your need, which is playing a game. Because like JC said, that's what you want to do is play the game. So now
Yeah,
you
that's
go
what he
somebody
want to
play
do.
with. Yeah, so to me that makes him again a crappy fight, and I got it. She knew that in advance, so she was the silly one
Yeah,
that
she did
she
that
didn't
in
get
advance.
pregnant on purpose. So I'm not mad about that because she didn't do it on purpose, but you
But let
knew
me ask
there's
you
a
this:
good
if you're
chance of being a
having
bad
sex
father.
without any kind of protection for yourself, even the guy, is that really an accidental pregnancy?
Hmm. Say that again.
I just have, okay, so if you are having unprotected sex with someone, you're
Hmm.
not trying to prevent pregnancy and you get pregnant, is that an accidental pregnancy? I know people say it all the time, oh, it was an accident. But my thing is, if you weren't doing anything to prevent that, is that really an accident?
No, but people believe pull out and all that stuff is really actually prevented. Like, oh, well, they didn't do that. But I mean, like in reality, because I used to take a medicine where I had to take a quiz, and because that medicine was 100%, you cannot get pregnant because if you do one pill, it's like an acne medicine, Accutane. So in case people don't know, Accutane, if you take one pill, it can mutilate a baby if you get pregnant. So they were like, you absolutely cannot get pregnant. You got to use 2 forms of birth control when you're on the pill, and then like one of the questions was always like, what are forms of birth control? And if you chose pull-out method, you get it wrong. And if you don't pass a little quiz, which is super easy, but if you don't pass it, then obviously they can't give you the medicine for the next month. They do it you have to do it once a month. Like I used to have to do a pregnancy test, that plus like every 3 months I had to do something for bone density or something. I don't know. Like that drug was crazy. So I know medically pull-out method is not a real thing. And because people say it's not a real thing for real. People be like, oh, they pulled out and I still got pregnant. But maybe that's what she look at. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? He was pulling out. I don't know what he was doing. But usually in that argument, that's when I say like a man, they usually be like, oh, you try to trap me. But if you were having unprotected sex with her, was she really trapping you? Like, or you tried to get pregnant. Well, did you not avoid it? Did you not wear protection? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so I get what you're saying. Yes. It's not you're not preventing it if you're not actually physically on birth control, got your tubes tied, something that's supposed to be some form of prevention and it failed. So I agree with you on that. So she was enjoying the moment, enjoying the moments, whatever, because it seemed like they used to do it a lot, the way she acts.
Yeah.
And my thing too is if it's an extremely sexual person, then you kind of know what they, and I guess maybe because it's weird because it's coming from the man saying it, not the woman. So it's real weird. Usually it's a woman like, oh, I don't feel good. I got a headache. I got this. I'm tired. I was with the baby. And these might be legit things, but the man is like, well, shoot, I worked all day. I did this. I'm paying the bills. You're going to get that to me,
Yeah.
And I don't mean to sound
But
that
I
mean.
know I get where she's coming
But
from.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because his appetite has changed.
Yeah.
So I get that, and that's something you're supposed to be paying attention to with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
You know that,
And
but
I
it's
feel like
just like,
she shouldn't expect him to do it every day either. Like if he's
yeah,
tired, like the man does go to work every day. If he's tired, just like I say, if a man says about a woman, like would you rather be with a limp noodle or would you rather be with somebody who wants to be there too? Like and in that moment. So I'm like, okay, I get it if somebody's always saying no, but if here and there, like I'm tired from work, I really want to get some sleep, I'm tired, or I'm just not in that mood, that's cool. But it sounds like he's doing that every day. And that's not okay. Like if you're too tired to tend to your daughter, you're too tired to tend to your wife, but you can get on the game with your son, and that's one son. We're not even saying how he's interacting with the rest of them. But you want to
Mm.
be father of the year because, hey, I'm with my son and you're interrupting time with my son. Like, what about the rest of your kids? I don't see you interacting with them. So to me, I'm
bless you.
not impressed. Bless you. I'm not impressed at that point. But again, she knew he was a deadbeat dad. So if you move
Oh yeah,
past
she
that,
knew. She knew everything that she has said. Kelly said to her, so she knew.
yeah.
She
But I
knew.
mean, if you move past that, I go back to like what one won't do, another will. And I really feel like maybe Sean need to realize that. Like he's had these women who, I mean, Destiny was crazy, but Kelly, like she said, I don't like that she threw Kelly in it
Me
because
neither. I
that's
didn't
not
like that.
cool. But she's not Kelly. Like this chick will cheat on you, or this chick will move
Right?
on and leave
She
you.
will cheat on you, and she let you know she will leave.
Yeah.
And I believe she would leave, and I
But
believe she would
I
cheat
don't
on
blame her. Like I don't blame her. I don't think she should be like I cheat on you and nothing like that. But like what I do agree with her is if you can't get it together, then I'm gonna leave because I'm not here because I have to be here. I'm not here because we got too many kids. I have one child with you. I can leave. You know what I'm saying? Because her mom, I'm sure would let her come back if she
you. Oh
needs to
yeah,
go
her
back.
mom would throw her a welcome home party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he's a deadbeat. She's been a bad wife in the sense of, but it sounds like she's also tried to talk to him, and he still does the same thing. Like she said, what he's gonna do? He's gonna come in. He's gonna try to hug you, kiss you, say I'm sorry, and then turn around. Any person who goes through that type of stuff with a person who's like, I swear, this time I'm gonna change. I'm gonna do better, and they turn around, they do it for a day, 2 days, 2 hours. This dude did it for 2 minutes. Unless they were airing longer and they just cut it short. But the fact that you sitting upstairs with her, she didn't knock this thing off your head. If you went back downstairs, the first thing you should have told her son is, "Hey, I'm gonna get on the game with you tomorrow. Um, I'm tired. I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed.
Yeah.
I got work in the morning. Let me go ahead and we'll try to play a game tomorrow. You did great. Awesome shots, dude. Get off. Go tend to your wife. Because if you want to be this fake man and say you're gonna change, give her a day. Give her a night.
Yeah,
He
he
didn't even
should
do
have.
that. So I
Because
would
yeah, I was
actually,
proud of him when he told her he grabbed the baby. He said, "You go upstairs and take a bath." I was proud of him.
yeah,
But
but then
then,
she had the baby right back. So what
yeah,
happened?
exactly.
Did he put the
Right.
baby down? Like, how did she even get the baby back? I didn't even see her take the baby from him. I just saw her going up the stairs with the baby and him behind her.
Mhm.
So I don't know what happened in that moment, but they go upstairs. He sits and he really tries to be like, I promise you, I'm gonna change. I swear, I swear, I swear. And then you back on the game. Me, I would have not only just taken it off and slammed it on the ground like she did, but I would have stepped on it too. I would have stepped on the headset because I'd have been like, you lying piece of crap. You lying piece of crap. Like you couldn't even give me one day. Like you give me a week of change and then you go back. You couldn't even give me 2 hours? Oh nah. Nah, bro. You get no game either. Get your new
You know,
headset.
you touched on one thing. Yeah, Sean is wrong, but it seems like you're willing to almost give that up just to have sex. And if one thing we ain't all learned by this time is Text does not make a relationship. It'll break it, but it don't make it.
But
It'll
it's
make
way
it good for that
better.
moment, but then you still got to struggle. The
It's
other
breaking
thing is
it.
that sometimes when men say they're trapped, a lot of times, no, you should have been protected. But if you're in a relationship where you say you have trust, and she's telling, and you might be a situation where they say, "Oh, I got my tubes tied. Oh, I can't have any," and next thing you know, it's like, "Oh, oops." I kind of went off your word. So
That's
I can't
different.
fully blame the man in that
No,
aspect.
that's different. That's different.
Um, but yeah, Sean, yeah, he was too addicted to that game. But I will say, last but not least, now she wanted him. Now she got the swing to try to make spice things up. It didn't work. My thing is that the only thing you tried? Now I agree, Sean is wrong, but maybe you gotta dig a little deeper and find something that intrigues him, not
So
what
where she
you
need to
think
get a
is
gaming
sexy.
outfit, like put like A and B, put a
There
little
you go.
plus,
Press my buttons. Press my buttons.
put a little gamepad down here, like come and enjoy the buttons. And then he'll
Yeah.
enjoy himself. Like that's crazy though.
Come enjoy this controller over
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Dress up
Yes.
as a controller and then run through the house with the cord, like catch the cord. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, apparently that's what it takes. And that to me, that's an immature man. I'm
On
sorry. If
the-
I had just
She
like a
was
remote
like,
control, a video game
I want to
controller,
play the
I'd be
game
like,
too. I need a joystick. You know.
you know what he's doing is not normal though. Like what he's
Yeah.
doing, he's settled in I got the girl I wanted. I didn't really want to be married, but I'm here. I realize marriage ain't fun, but he's not even willing to try. Like, so he feel like, oh, marriage should be as fun as it was when we was dating. But
Or
marriage work.
somebody else has his attention.
True. Could be. He could be like not at work really, because who made them cookies?
Yeah.
Where
Or
did
he
he come
could
from?
be
Did he
talking to
pull them out of a
Destiny.
bag or something, or did he pick them off the counter? Because I just looked up and I saw he had cookies, and I was like, who baked them cookies? You know,
I
like
don't know where the cookies came from. I just
it
saw
looked
them.
almost like he brought them from work, and I'm like, well, who made you cookies? I just smacked them cookies down too. And oh, and that part, she just had cleaned, and I got it. Like to me, this sound like it seemed like a setup. It really did because they showed her cleaning, and he
Mhm.
comes in, he makes a mess of the cookies. So I really feel like that was a weak TV thing. But if I just swept and mopped the floor, you drop cookies, and then you're like, oh wow, and you made a mess. Like knowing that you like this crappy husband and dad, anyways, you made a mess, and then you're like, oh okay, my bad, and go to the like I'm supposed to pick it up.
But okay, so in his defense of that too, I choose like when I mop and sweep kind of around what's going on with the people in the household. If I know my man is coming home from work, he's most likely going to be hungry. He's going to be in the kitchen trying to do things. I'm not going to be sweeping and mopping as at the same time he's going to be
Maybe she
coming home
wanted to
trying.
clean for when he came home.
Huh?
Maybe she wanted it to be clean for him when he came home, not for him to mess it up, but so it's clean when he get there.
Feed me.
But most men will pick up their own mess like that, like on the spot. Like, oops, I dropped that. Who is like and miss their whole mouth with half the cookie and if on the floor, like, uh-oh.
No, I got to go with Nene on this one because he would have never grabbed the cookie and ate the cookie and made the crumbs if the food was already there for them to eat in the first place.
But he came with them cookies. He wanted them cookies. Whoever made him them cookies, he wanted to make sure they saw him on camera eat those cookies. He was
They
gonna eat
did.
them.
If that food smelling good enough, them cookies be like, oh shoot, man, she made roast. Let me
Yeah,
get
he
some.
gonna be all over that food. Yeah.
But what motivation does she got? Like she stuck with this baby. She cleaning up after this man
But
who
I
all he
mean,
do is
but in
cook
all
eggs.
honesty, she knew all of this before she got with him.
Right.
Even knowing it though, like doesn't mean that you're gonna be happy in it and you're gonna be like whatever. If she reaping
But
what
that's
she so well, I ain't gonna say she reaping because she didn't steal him from nobody. Like he
she
lied to
didn't
her.
steal him. She didn't steal
No.
him.
But
But she also
he
did not
did
take into
portray something that
consideration.
he wasn't, and she tried to be like, I'm gonna give my man the shadow of a doubt that he could change versus me being like, you know what, you are a loser, I'm gonna leave you because how many women have tried to sabotage another relationship, ex, and it actually wasn't true. It was just that they was jealous. Like, so you got to think she had to like take into account: do I stand with my man or do I stand with his baby mama who's saying this stuff? But he tells me all this stuff about her that's making her seem like she's just a bitter baby mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you gotta remember, he's
But see,
probably
that's the other problem, and that's something that we as women, I'll include myself in there, even though I don't think I've necessarily done this. It's always the fact of, oh, she's just jealous. She just want my man, instead of
not even
listening to
jealous.
what she was saying. Like she kept on accusing Kelly of being jealous. She's still bringing Kelly up in a negative way. Whereas that really wasn't what was going on. Kelly was basically telling you the truth because now here he is doing all the stuff that Kelly was saying.
True, I agree with that, but not everybody is like that though. Kelly was actually being honest because she like I was with this man for
Not
16 years,
everybody
whatever.
is like that, but at the same time, everybody don't want your man.
Yeah,
Sometimes when
but I
people
mean, you're
tell
gonna
you
think
stuff,
that
you gotta
because it's
listen
like,
to
why are
it.
you coming to me on my wedding day with this mess? Like, you know what I'm saying? On my wedding day, like, I don't want to hear it.
It's true.
Me personally,
Every
I'm nosy, so I'd have been like, what? Then it would have been in my head, like everything she said. But I'm like, it's my wedding day, gone somewhere with that. But in my head, if I still married him, I would have those things because I have spoke to an ex before and heard some things, and then when stuff started happening, I'm like, oh shoot, got it. It's my sign. This is a red flag. Need to go because this is a sign that he's had with other people too, where he's getting crazy. Now, on her wedding day, she probably just didn't want to ruin her day, so she didn't want to hear that mess. And I don't blame her. Like, you should want to know anything, but at the same time, you don't know her motive, her intentions, because it could be like, okay, I was with this man for 16 years and he ain't married me. Oh, he want to marry you? Well, let me tell you about how he really is. You know what I'm saying? You don't know the intentions when you know some
But
that.
that's the problem. She chose to ignore what was being told to her. It's not that it wasn't told to her.
I mean, it's her, like you say, every baby mama wasn't like her. Just like every baby dad, you ain't gonna go see him and say like, oh, I can love you better than them, and I don't care if you're married. Because I promise you, that's the last thing I'd ever say. I'm like, okay, you got 15 more minutes for y'all to play, and then you need to go on about your business. That's what most would be like, especially when you're trying to mess up a happy home. And I don't know. And last but not least, I mean, I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah.
It's two sides to a story, man. So if he's telling her one thing and she chose to believe her man, like we can all
Oh,
say it's stupid, but why
that's
would
what
you
I
feel
was
bad
gonna
if
say.
you didn't believe him?
That's what I was gonna say. You said that but she had to figure it out. Now, true enough, yeah, you give your boyfriend the benefit of the doubt, but it does. But if you, as long as you got a benefit of a doubt, that doesn't mean you go ahead and make him your husband. You take care of that doubt before you make him your husband.
She was
If
pregnant,
there's
so I
doubt
feel like
there,
she probably like pregnant now. Too late.
right? But
But
even
that
if
doesn't
you're
excuse it.
But she,
pregnant,
you saw where she came from. So for her, a liar was okay.
it was. But look at where she's at now. Either way
Yeah.
it goes, Sean's messed up. The baby dad is messed up, and the mom and she's messed up because she had all the signs but still followed anyway. We all have right to choose, and you just have to accept your part in it. Not saying that Sean don't play a part. Sean plays a big part, but she plays a part also.
But
Yeah.
you know, I really do believe that, like, even the worst man, I don't believe that every terrible man, like, I mean, I haven't really seen it where these terrible men turn around and get a woman and they're actually good to them. But I do, and maybe it's just me being naive, I don't know. But I do believe that sometimes there could be a woman that comes along that actually changes them to the point where they're like, you know what, I don't want to be like this with her. Like it's something different about her. And maybe because he explained to her that it was something different about her, and maybe she believed it because he's still full of junk.
No, and I'll say I do believe that there are times where a man can be a bad guy and he changes for a woman. And the same thing for women. There could be women who are hoes, but then they'll change for the right guy. The whole thing is that when you're dealing with somebody, that's the thing. You got to look at the whole big picture of things and figure out, is this really the type of person that I want to go and move forward with? You got to look at the
Mhm.
bigger picture and not just
But see,
the little things.
she looked at her past. So it's like if you were like, okay, this dude actually provides me a house, provides me a vehicle to drive. He's taking care of my daughter who's not his. And this is the perception because it's how he was when they were dating. Um, but I'm coming from somebody who ran off on us. I was abused. I was homeless. I was this and that. I ended up having to do stuff that sent me to jail. Yeah, he seems like a saint compared to this last person. And I mean, and maybe she's forgetting because if this is the person that did all these things, you're looking past that because right now you're mad at him. You're mad at Sean because she said I don't want to end the marriage. So it's obvious that it's still stuff about him that she loves. I think she
But to
just
me,
misses the way he treated her when they were dating versus the way he treats her now that they're married. Um, Kelly can't even speak on it because they never got married. So he treated her like crap when they was dating. So maybe she felt like y'all ain't even made it to this step. So it might be something different about me. I feel like any woman could be tricked or fooled by that thought because it's like he's with her for 17, 16 years and wouldn't marry her. He's with me for like a year and married me. So obviously I'm different. Something about me made him decide like it's time to settle down and actually be with somebody. But he can't change because this is who he is. I don't know if he's a narcissist. I don't know what he is. Lazy? I don't know what he is. Like Sean is his own type. Like he's his own little. I don't know. He's
but when
garbage.
you but when you talk about her past and where she's been through and how far she's come along, I mean, like what she didn't have, and then what Sean was able to provide, then it makes you question too: is it that she was in love with him, or was she actually in love with what he does and what he do? And that's a big difference. All because someone now can provide you a place that actually cares about you, that actually wants to do things for you. Because I mean, he don't do what he should do in the bedroom, whatever. Yeah, true enough. But he cares enough to make sure that her and the baby are taken care of in that way. But it takes more than that. I agree, it takes a lot more than that. But there's a side of her that is willing to give all that up for somebody
Yeah,
who
that's
was a
the. It is the
provider.
left side because that's that side that you're like, grass green on the other side. Watch me go show
Yeah.
you. It
So
might be.
that's because you're putting the sex and the toxicity of when you have a woman that has some toxic ways and a man that's narcissistic or doesn't even have any drive, they will attract you, not even realizing that you have somebody that, like the thing Sean have, to be in all honesty, if you had some couples counseling to where they could where someone could talk to them without them talking to each other, because sometimes it's easier when there's a third party, they could work that out a whole lot better with a much happier ending than if you took her and her baby dad and got them it's still going to be the same, even worse issues and even a worse relationship for their child to be in.
Yeah, very true. All right, so that was Sean and Sarah. So the next couple that we had was Amber and Puppy. All right, so the scene opens up with Amber. So Amber, she's talking to TC. She actually apologizes to TC. And then she also says into the camera, she admits that she did tell TC. But she says she told TC when she first met him that she felt like originally Puppy and Eric got together because they were dealing drugs together. I mean, which it still don't make it any better, but I guess. And so, she apologizes to him about that. Um, they talk, and TC does his usual where he's still being very judgmental towards Puppy. He doesn't like her. The bottom line, he just doesn't like her. And even though some of the things he was saying, Amber was like, I know that because I did that. I know that because I was in prison. But it's almost like he judges Puppy so harshly for these same things. But with Amber, it's almost like, well, that was your past. But it's like he doesn't look at Puppy and think the same thing. So, and that was them. Then we see Puppy and Eric. They are actually going over their bills and what's going on. They have a lot of bills on them. Puppy reveals that Eric has gotten his divorce, but they are just in a whole lot of debt. So Puppy tells Eric that she wants to go get a job. Well, and help out with the situation. Eric really doesn't want her to. He wants to handle all of their finances and be the provider for them. And so that was them this week. Any thoughts on Puppy and Eric, Amber and TC?
I'm not a fan of TC.
No, I'm not a fan at all
Like
either.
I feel like he's just because, like you said, he's forgiving of his girlfriend.
Hmm.
But and I get it why he's just he I like so the fact that that's his girlfriend's ex, just don't
Hmm.
like her for that reason. But don't bash her and be like, when she say, "Well, I live that same life. That's how I know." Well, no, you got
Yeah.
past it. Don't be that type of person I don't like her. That was your ex. I'm not comfortable with you hanging out with your ex. Y'all used to do things that, and I don't care if you like her anymore or not. That's your ex, and I'm not comfortable with it. Just admit that. Then when it comes to Eric, he's driving me crazy because she's saying like, "Look, I want to help. I like we can't do this. We're drowning in debt. We're you possibly, you know what I'm saying, could something happen, we could even lose the house type stuff, you know what I'm saying? She even contemplated like if I had left him, then maybe he would have went back to his wife and he'd been okay, you know.
Mm-hmm.
These things are like if this is like putting this much of a hurt on the marriage, just let her go get a little part-time job or something. Like let her do something to contribute if she's begging for it. Now if she's saying I'm gonna go sell drugs, then yeah, no. We'll figure it out another way. But if she's saying I'll go get a little job or something just to help, even if it's barely helping, it's still helping. And I say let her, but I don't know. Like, I mean, it wasn't a lot to their stuff. I'm not a fan of TC. And then Eric just needs to get his head out of whatever. Cause I mean, it comes a time where it's not about being a man. It's about not losing everything at that point. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like she's saying, you're a man. I'm not supposed to work. You know, and he's like, yeah, this is a man's thing is so that you don't work, blah, blah, blah. I get it. You're a very chivalrous person who's like, nobody I dated worked. I don't want you working. So that borderline sound controlling. But anyways, um, I get it. But unless it's for controlling reasons, why can't she just go get a job to help if she's begging to help because she wants to not lose the house? She doesn't want to like make you feel to the point that you can't do stuff. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's how people become like, you know, with a point where they unalive themselves. Like you just never know what that person's pushing and breaking point is. So like, why not contribute if you're able to? They don't have any kids. They, you know what I'm saying? She could go get a little part-time job or job, even a job even if it's just for a little while, just to get them back on their feet. Then she can quit. I wouldn't even be mad. Like if somebody was like, yeah, just work for a couple more months and you can quit. I got that down packed. Gotcha. I know I'm gonna get to quit anyways if I don't really want to work. But it don't sound like she doesn't want to work. He says he wants to take care of home. So I just feel like he's just being weird, and then TC is just rude. That's all.
TC is with
Amber.
Amber. I want to make sure I had the name right, Amber. So I'm gonna take a little different twist on this, just for arguments. Don't come rocking you. So as far as TC goes, the way he is very aggressive with it. I think he's too aggressive with it. But I think when he makes the comparison between Amber and Puppy, he's seen some of Amber's change firsthand and feels like he's been a part of that. And like, if you get reintroduced to the people that has you in a way prior to me, that you're going to start picking up the same things again. That if I want to keep Puppy away so that I don't get to see this side of Amber again. Not knowing exactly what only he knows about Puppy really is what he's known of her and how they've encountered each other, and that she may still be doing some of the same things while he sees Amber, you know, getting better and better and doesn't want to see her pulled down.
I guess I can see that. I still don't like the way he's doing it, but I can see that from that perspective.
And I say that even from a personal standpoint. I have friends, you know, to one particular, you know, when they're not around it, they make a lot of progress. But as soon as they get reintroduced, they start backsliding, and then they got to get their emotions back together, and they handle things in a different manner.
Mm-hmm.
And for that person that's trying to be there for someone, it gets aggravating when you feel like you invest, and then all of a sudden as soon as this person come along, they take away everything. When this one person believed they could not do, now all of a sudden they can do it, and this one person come and mess it all up. It's like, dang. As far as you know, and as far as Eric and Puppy goes, Eric's thing is a male ego. You feel like, no, baby, I got this. No, baby, I got this. So I don't agree with what he's doing, but I understand that you're trying to make sure, baby, I'm gonna be that standing man. I'm gonna be that stand up man. But sometimes everybody has to sit there and say, hey, I'm gonna need help. That's the whole part of when they say for better or for worse, is that you gotta work together. And if you can do it, great. If you need a hand, that's what she's there for. If she need a hand, that's what he's there for. And he's got to relinquish, put that foolish pride aside, and allow her to be there. Because in all honesty, where you think you're helping or making her seem like, oh, I'm the man, I got this, you're hurting her because you're not making her feel like she's part of the union that's supposed to help y'all grow together. That's it.
I can see that.
Yeah, I can. Definitely. All right. So our next couple was Eris and Cameron. All right. So Cameron, he just arrived in Tampa. I don't know why I didn't realize she lived in Tampa before this, but yeah.
I
So
thought they said Jacksonville.
uh,
In Tampa.
yeah.
No, no, I'm saying I thought originally they said
Oh, that's what
Jacksonville.
you
Yeah.
thought. Yeah. All right. And so they arrive home. She picks him up from the airport. They go home. She reveals that her daughter Lena is with her grandmother because they've got some making up to do. And so they walk into the house. The house is a little warm. And so Eris, says, I got to get the AC fixed. I'm going to get that fixed. And so Cameron's like, I'm prepared to help out. And he says he's going to get, the AC fixed. And she's like, then, that's a good thing that he's coming ready to help out. But it's just a matter of where is this money coming from? All right. And so Eris' dad calls. Well, first, let me say this. Cameron has a surprise for her. So they drive to the surprise. Once they get there, Eris' dad calls, and Cameron needs to run inside to make sure the surprise is going to go off without any hitches. And so she's talking to her dad on the phone, and her dad is like, "Why did I find out you got married on social media?" So he's not happy about that, which I totally understand because if I found out my son got married via social media, it would hurt me. So she's just trying to reassure her dad that this was not, I don't know how she could really say it wasn't a light decision since they kind of agreed to get married in one day's time. They got married and got engaged and married within a day or two. All right. And so she talks to her dad. She gets off the phone with her dad right as it's time for her to see her surprise. And so the surprise that Cameron has done for her is she's going to have a sunset dinner on the beach, which I thought that was really, really nice. That was incredible. They had steaks, they had lobsters, they had tables with all these drinks on there. They're just having a really nice time, nice elaborate dinner. And so Eris was like, "How much did this cost? This had to be expensive." And so Cameron says to her, don't ask where how much I spent on something that's a gift for you, something to that effect. Which I did get that. I understand it. Like I saw why she was asking because if he's not working, how did you pay for this? But then at the same token, if I've done something nice for you, you shouldn't ask me how much it cost or how I got the money. So I kind of could see both sides in there. I understood why she asked, but from a giver side, I understood why he may get offended by that. All right, so thoughts on Eris and Cameron from you guys?
That was super cute. Super cute. Um, I feel like I agree with you saying, like, it's rude to ask where the money came from and how much it costs. But at the same time, she's also dealing with somebody who's, I don't know if he's on parole, probation, or what he's on.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of got to be cautious of that stuff because you don't want them falling back into it. Because first of all, you got a child. You don't want to go down if something does occur, as well as you want to make sure they're not still in that same, like if this is how you're gonna bring home money, then yeah, I don't want that kind of money. So I get where she was coming from, and I get where he was coming from. Hopefully, if anything is old money, and he
Mm-hmm.
ain't still involved in that life,
Yeah.
and he can get a job or do whatever and move forward. But overall, that was a super cute surprise. I really didn't know what to expect. I don't know why I thought it was gonna be like some balloons on the beach, and I don't know. I don't know. I didn't think it was gonna be no whole dinner. Like that was tight. Like
Yeah.
with the lobster, the gold steak, because I've seen places that do that gold steak, and that junk ain't, it's not cheap. Like them type of places that don't even have the prices on the menu. Like you just gotta order and find out or ask when you get there. But I thought it was pretty cute. The only thing I didn't, this is me personally, it just seemed like it was a little windy out there. So I don't know how much you really can enjoy such a nice dinner when it's windy and junk like that. But outside of that, this is my personal thing because I guess it has been windy in Tampa. Well, I don't know how long ago that was, but you know, when it gets windy in Tampa, it gets windy. And it's like, yeah, I don't know if that part was cool or not, but outside of that though, it was a pretty cool little date. And I feel like after the way he acted at the end of the season, I was glad to see him do something so nice, but how did he do that? Like, because I felt like he didn't even know, like, he doesn't know the area. He said he's never been to Florida, but yet you set up something that extravagant. You didn't know if that was close to the house. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, he was like, how far are we from the house to the airport and this and that? And, you know, and then you don't know if you selected something that was like way across town either. Like, so how could you plan something so perfect, like, without knowing anything? You know, so I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
he
the only
put a
part.
lot of thought into it. I would. That was my thought. I was like, wow, he put a lot of thought into that, and that was really cool to me that he put so
Yeah.
much thought into it.
But after the way they left off, like I felt like that was very sweet, and hopefully this is who he is, you know, and
Yeah,
not that he just did it just for the makeup and then that's it. Um, what did he say? The biscuits? Something about doing something.
muffins,
Nothing.
Muffins.
Nothing.
making muffins.
That was funny. I was like that. That was funny. Um, yeah, that part was funny. And then as far as the dad, like I do think it's messed up that he found out. He said he found out through the social media, or he found out after the fact.
Through
Social media.
social media.
That's messed up. Like I probably at the least before this stuff aired would have told him because that's not cool. Like I don't find out that's how my child got married, or I wouldn't even want to find out that's how anybody in my family. Like oh you got, you know, a close family member, whether it's my sister, whether it's my brother, whether it's my mom, dad, you know, child, niece, nephew, none of that. Like close, direct family members. I don't want to find out like that. Like have that kind of decency if we have a relationship. And then to say that you have a close relationship and you didn't tell that. I get it that she didn't tell him that day of, which is still hurtful, but don't let me find out through social media. That was messed up. So I get it. I'm glad she didn't let it ruin her day, but she do need to mend that because like at the end of the day, that is wrong. Like you could have told him before you found out on social media because there's still time in between when you filmed it, got married, and before it aired. Like you
Yeah.
had a whole season prior to the when they, you know what I'm saying? Like you finished filming before it aired. Then
Hmm.
as it was airing, you still could have told him before the wedding happened.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Agreed. There's not a lot I got to say about this about that. I mean, it was good. As far as talking to the dad, I know the dad's disappointment. You know, when you have a little girl and she gets older, you dream of that day that you give her away or whatever, and that's like a special moment robbed away. Um, even if it was at the jail, it's like you would also feel that when you get ready to bring some man in your life, that you would think the number one, if the closest they said they had a bond together, that you would hope that she would come to the man that you feel she's looked up to all her life to at least a little insight. I know it doesn't always happen that way, but just on the dad side, we kind of hope that because we don't want to see our daughters get mistreated. We know we've seen people do other men do stuff. Heck, we know what we did in our day, and we don't want that done to our daughter. So that's one thing. And if he got to see more than just them being married on social media, he probably got many red flags like, oh my gosh. So far. As far as the dinner, that was nice. I mean, it was really nice setup. That is tomahawk, them gold leaf tomahawks or
You
golden
had that before?
tomahawks. Oh no, no. I've seen it on
Really
the
like
menu.
that?
It was like 900. Like 900 for those. A basic tomahawk by itself without the gold on it, raw, is going to run you about a good 20, 30, 40, a lot just for it. Um, did I have it? I'm cheap. But but yeah, but the setup was real nice, and I'm not gonna lie, I would have probably done the same thing too. But like, hey, can we take this to go? We about to go get some muffins. About to get these muffins, you know. I'd have done that too, but because it's all about having fun, and I'm glad to see this episode was a lot better Then there was the hotel and leaving the hotel. He might got a little ounce from me, but I got to see if it's consistent, or do you just go this far when you know you messed up that bad?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and and I don't know, like, because I look back at like with my ex husband, he had a baby, and obviously if you do the math, we weren't fully divorced before, but we were already separated, but we weren't fully divorced before he even posted one picture on social media. He let me know. He's like, hey, I just want to let you know we did have a baby. Of course, I'm like, what? But we already divorced, so I couldn't get mad. But then I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute. So she was pregnant, I had my moment, but I still gave him his respect for that. Like I wasn't happy with the way stuff went down because I'm like, so that gave me even more, it turned on another anger. Like, so you wouldn't even want to tell me when we were getting divorced? Because I actually was like, you sure we want to do this? Because of course, man, I'm like trying to be nice. Like, if you don't want to, maybe we'll wait. But the fact that he actually had that decency, so I couldn't imagine like if I had a relationship that she said she got with her dad, that I
Mm-hmm.
could have let my dad find out on social media when somebody who ain't even got no ties to me anymore. We didn't have kids, we were divorced, but he at least cared enough about my feelings to know like if she see this, she might snap even worse. Could I really snap? No, but I probably would have. And it ain't meant off of jealousy or nothing like that. It was just off of like, so we were still married, but he did let me know. And I didn't do it on social media, didn't do it on like any type of platform. However, he gave me that courtesy. So it just, to me, it's just weird that she didn't even give her dad a heads up before he found out on TV, national TV, not even just social media, but when the whole world found out. Anybody who watches it found out at the same time he did. That's kind of a, I don't know. That's foul to me to find out anyway like that on anything. Like, it's kind of foul unless we don't have a real relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alrighty. So that was Eris and Cameron. So next we have Lindsay and Blaine.
Oh, how about that?
So the scenes opens up. Lindsay's walking through the woods, no shoes on her feet. And I was like, really? We know good and well she got at least a ride there because she wasn't walking through those woods in a dress with no shoes on. I don't believe that. Um, I believe they dropped her off a little bit away from the house, maybe half a mile at the most. And so she walked the half a mile. And so we see that Blaine is at their mobile home, and it really looks bad. I have a feeling Reese is going to have some things to say about that, about their new home. So it's going to be you, okay?
No, no, I'm waiting to hear what Reese got to say.
Okay. And so what really bothered me was we see her walk onto the property, still barefooted, walking in this construction zone. This guy, he's picking up wood with looks like old rusty nails is in this wood, and she's just walking barefooted and marches into the house. She's so mad she can't even say anything to anybody. She can't put on her shoes. She can't be bothered with that. And so she walks into the house, and then her and Lane, I would say they argue, but they really didn't. She just blew off a bunch of smoke at him. About the charges, which I'm still trying to figure out. Does she still have warrants? Has she cleared up her mess?
I
So,
would think she
she's
do.
just fuss. You think she does? I think she does too. And so she's sitting up here going off on Blaine and, telling him don't lie to her ever again and blah, 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 blah. And so he's like, yeah, Lindsay. The way he says her name is so funny to me. The way
He
he
said
pronounces it.
Lindsay. I gotta watch it again.
Yeah, watch it. The way he pronounces it is funny. And so he says, oh, he's not going to lie to her anymore. So he had his friend over there helping him do some renovations on this place. And so when he walks out the room and goes where his friend is, his friend was like, oh, the way that conversation was going, I was waiting for shots to be fired. He's like, she was really mad. And he's like, apparently he knows Lindsay because he says um, she can go off the handle very easily. Alrighty. And while he's talking to his friend, he gets a phone call from his lawyer. So the lawyer is saying, oh, I think I may be able to get you house arrest. So I was like, this lawyer worked awfully quickly. But I don't know what the time lapse is. You can't really tell with these shows. And
No,
so,
it was during her walk home.
hmm?
We saw it. It was during her walk home.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
and they
walk home.
said it was the same day.
Yeah. He went from 15,000 to you gotta pay me 15,000 before I do anything to I
Mm,
worked out a deal to get you house arrest before she made
Like
it to
cut
the
you
house.
a break.
yeah. It. So I was, of course, side eyeing this conversation. I was like, I wonder if we. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it alone. But I was side eyeing that, and so he finds out this news, but he decides he doesn't want to share this with Lindsay quite yet. He's gonna hold this into his back pocket. Alrighty, and so that's where they ended. We see that Blaine may not end up having to do any prison time, just maybe house arrest for 3 years. All right, thoughts on Blaine and Lindsay?
Lindsay. She'd say Lindsay. Lindsay.
Mhm.
I say what?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to stop so I can say that. She'd say Lindsay. And I say what? Um, so Blaine and Lindsay. First of all, I was thinking the same thing that you said, like, okay, was there a time gap? He's never said anything to her about it. So for all we know, there is a time gap, but they presented to us. So this is how I'm gonna take it, We TV, because you told us in that time frame that she walked home barefoot and get no splinter and get no rock or glass in her feet. She walked home, got naked on camera. Yeah, opinions. Did my comments trigger that? Naked on camera and all of that. Because I was like, what's the point of that? Why did she do that too? Why? Yeah, it wasn't necessary because there was no scene. You know what I'm saying? Like it made sense in other seasons where somebody might have got naked and you like, we didn't need to see it, but we get what was gonna happen. That I'm like, okay, whatever. She didn't need to stand there in her fancy brown panties, like delaying putting on the little thing while she talked to him. I'm like, girl, come on now.
Okay.
Anyways, so she did all of that. Cause y'all, I'm gonna get to the part that I know JC want to hear about. But she walked with no shoes on. Your feet got to be rough. Feet walk on hot concrete, hot
Right.
sidewalk, rocks and grass, and all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and none of that even bothered you. Then you walk through that wooden porch, wasn't scared of splinters, wasn't scared of nothing. You wasn't scared of a loose nail with all that stuff piled around there. Loose metal, nails, all kinds of construction equipment. You was comfortable to walk through there and then start saying, "Oh, I need you to get this paint to the blah 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 blah." I don't know. That just all seems set up. Like you said, I don't believe she walked. I think somebody drove her. I don't think that was all the same time frame. I think they cut that piece in to give us that. But I think this probably happened later, and it made sense to put it there so he can be like, "I'm gonna hide this." And I don't know. I feel like we was doing some sneaky stuff. But if you weren't we, then that's weird.
I mean, we have seen where they have played with the scenes. Because last week, I don't know if y'all noticed, I believe that scene that Justine and her kids and Michael, when they went to go and see, to go to the self defense classes, I think that happened like maybe before they went for ice cream. Because do y'all remember when they were eating ice cream? Michael, he seemed to have on a weird robe or something when they were eating ice cream. So I think that scene was actually shot before they went to that ice cream parlor.
I'd have to go back and look. Did she have a match on something weird?
I'm
They
sorry.
usually match. They usually match. Was she
You
matching
know
his
what?
weird
I
robe?
don't remember. But when I was seeing that scene, I was like, I feel like that's the same top he had on when they were at the ice cream parlor.
So he stole the top.
Or maybe he brought his own.
Could have. He could have. Because I have pants.
Mm.
I don't have a top, but I have pants for that because I did a little kickboxing junk in Afghanistan. Go ahead.
All right, Jerome.
I apologize. I don't. I don't mean to be rude, but can we get to Reese part when she talks about how they
I
invested
was
all
going
this
to go back to it.
minerals on the inside?
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for.
You waiting to see what my opinion on. Hold on. I'm not even going to go to the inside yet. So she walks up.
Mhm.
This place is worse than I thought. It looks like it should be demolished.
It
Like
looks like it's
what
in the process of being
the freak?
demolished.
No, dude. Y'all spent y'all life savings on that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like if I buy a place that I'm moving into, and apparently you walk in and your clothes are already there, so y'all living there.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do that, it's gonna be a place that's at least set up like a house, and then it just needs work. Like there may be if there's a leaky roof, it's on a part of the house that we don't even use. It don't look like it's in the same place that I'm sleeping in. Like, where are y'all even using the bathroom? Like, what? The house looks demolished on the inside and outside. Like, it looks old, raggedy, beat up, demolished. Like stuff is probably caved in. Look like the people, the last owners probably didn't even move out. Y'all just are you using their old bed? Like, what is that? Like, and you're gonna come on TV and say you spent your life savings on that? I'm sorry, I'm not moving into that until it's renovated. Like, you're not gonna see me come into that place changing my clothes as if I lived there. And she was on the bed, like I muted. I don't know where I was at when I said it. I accidentally hit that. She came in like she's like, this is my house. This is, you know what I'm saying? Like, my clothes are already here, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? What? Who? Y'all life ain't that bad. Because I'm sorry, the girl, she wasn't living that bad before she got with him.
No, they were actually living
They
in a
were in
nice
a
house
house.
last season.
They were in a house and she was living with him. So how do you go from that? Would you get rid of that house and then you're like, the money we made from this house, we're gonna put into this one, and we're gonna renovate this trailer. This demolished trailer that looked like it should be somewhere in a place that's real shady, in an
It
area
should.
that you'll be like, I'm gonna lock my doors and I pull up. Like if I put up to their trailer, I'd lock my doors. Like, oof.
I mean, the house that Michael Myers lived in looked better than this.
Yeah. It makes me
That
even look
cabin
back
on
at
Crystal Lake looked
yeah,
better than that.
yeah.
And a lot of murders took place there.
I've seen
That's all I gotta say.
on TV some of the little houses where them houses where they sell stuff and do the bad things don't even look as scary as that trailer looked. Like that's bad. That's real bad. And to even make it look appear as if you're living there. Like I pray that we're getting this wrong and they're not actually living there. She just had a change of clothes there for some reason. But that's not where they live. Ugh. I didn't want to come off as bougie or better than, but I'm sorry. Like there's even an old school single, just a single trailer looks better than that mess. I was like, what the heck? What did the last owners do to it? And how much did y'all spend? Because was y'all life savings like $1,000? Because I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like
I
that's
think it was abandoned for a long time, maybe.
it's abandoned, and I hope they got it for like $1,000. Because if not, if they spent their savings and they spent more than I'm gonna even say 5,000 on that, y'all, you're wrong. You could just
Maybe it was the
down payment
land.
or something.
Maybe they have a really big plot of land. Maybe there's a couple of acres that trailer is sitting on, maybe.
Then why y'all fixing that trailer? Get another trailer. Usually when people buy something for the land, they'll demolish what's on it and rebuild. Y'all could rebuild a whole house. Probably get a little camper, a little cheap camp. Put a tent. The tent would
They
be
could have
better.
put a tiny house on there.
They could have put a tent and it'd have been better than that trailer. I was like, I don't want to go this hard into it, but y'all, come on now. Y'all saw what I saw. When they went to it, you remember last week I said, ooh, that was bad. When they actually went inside of it as well as showed the outside, they got their nerves only had 2 people, 3 people. Y'all need way more people than 3 to 2 people. Like this is an actual, like we're gonna rebuild this whole thing. More than 2
Okay,
people.
so let me see. There was one part where the friend he was doing something with the electrical outlets,
I was
and
gonna
I
say
was
that.
shocked. I was like, "Wait a minute, that house actually has electricity running to it."
Well, that he didn't like he knew what he was doing either.
No, now he knew what he was doing because one part he said was when they was talking about fix this, and house. He said, yeah, or this electrical. Because he was saying the electrical, his friend was saying that electrical wiring was messed up. It looked like he had to replace almost everything because those were like brand new wires.
But are we shocked that they got to replace all the wires in this place?
How are they living there then?
I'm gonna give benefit. I'm gonna try
Are
to
they
give
lighting
benefit.
candles at night?
Oh, probably.
Maybe,
Oh,
maybe they decided to gut the place to redo it. If that's not the case, then there's nothing more I can say. But if you even had to gut it, it had to be pretty bad in the first place.
hmm.
Yeah, I'm on mute.
So, so before the house, I'll go back to the story. I will say, but what was the last couple from last season where they went to go stay with the mother and they went and bought the candle?
Oh, yeah, Ashley and Travis.
See, see, see what Ashley did and Travis sat there. No, you should have let her keep walking when she took them shoes off when she was drunken in her feelings. Because to see that he went like, all right, oh, you want to walk? Okay, fine. He went home. He up there hammered. She done made that long walk home. And I
Yeah.
was like, it's like I care less. If you want to walk, you can walk. Bye. And came in like it was nothing. I don't know. I probably would have been still behind her, like, but baby, wait, baby, wait. But
Hmm.
he was just like, you know what? I kind of like his attitude. Now, as far as that house goes,
Say no more.
as far as the friend goes, I mean, as far as the place goes, she came in and she's just like, okay, when she come in, all right, do this here, this here, this here, this here. Um, so they see stuff that's going on. It's just like I'm irritated. Just get this done. And she's like, but let's talk. I ain't trying to talk about nothing. I ain't trying to hear you. The friend that's helping is really looking like he's looking like that friend. Like I said, I would help you, but I didn't realize it was all of this.
Yeah.
And then even when they was having an issue, the friend is like being the level-headed one, telling him, "It sounds like a lot of your problems are self-inflicted. You're causing this." Like when the
Hmm.
case came for him to just get the 3 years of house arrest, and the attorney even said, "Do you want to talk to your wife first?" Like, no, 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 I'm going to surprise her with it. And he told us that you're setting this up, regardless of how good that sounds. Once you're a union, you need to discuss things together.
Yeah.
That's engaged or married.
Right.
Um,
And then the thing that he's trying to surprise her with, that's not something you surprise me with. You
yeah,
need to let me know along the way. I don't want to be surprised with, oh, you only going to have house arrest.
yeah. Mm-mm. So, but at the end of the day, I still go back to you made your choice. You thought this was the better option. That's part of the reason why she's upset. Deal with it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Gotcha. Alrighty. So that was Lindsay and Blaine and their teardown this week. All right. So next, Taylor and Chance. I'm sorry, I'm snarling, guys. He was saying that man's name. Alrighty. So the scene opens up with Taylor is shopping for the baby. She's with one of her friends, and she's confiding in her baby and her I'm sorry, in her friend what's going on with her and Chance, and how Chance is spending money. She don't feel like they're prepared for the baby, and how frivolously he's been spending money. And some of the things that he's been doing that concerns her, like not answering phone calls and stuff when she's around, and just other little sneaky stuff that she sees that he is doing. Right? Okay, and we see that Chance is power washing one of his friends' houses with his new equipment. And while he is actually at his friend's house power washing, he takes a phone call, or he makes a phone call to his son. Turns out Chance has an 18-year-old son. I think this is the first time we've heard about this, right? Because I don't remember that from the previous season. But apparently he has an 18-year-old son that he hasn't had very much to do with the son. And so he's talking to the son and he's like, hey, I want you to come out, spend the weekend with me or whatever. And so when he gets off the phone, he's saying he's going to send for his son. And Taylor better not have anything to basically say about it, is pretty much what he said. Um, and so then we see that Chance goes home. And Taylor walks outside because she hears the power washer going. She can hear that motor. So she comes outside and is like, "Hey, will you turn that off and let's talk?" And she's like, "Where did this come from?" And he's like, "Well, he bought it. It was like $400 or whatever, but it's gonna pay for itself with the houses that he does." I don't know how much people charge for power washing, but I don't know. Maybe he can make it back very quickly. And so he's telling her, I could go and make $500 today and then $200 tomorrow, and she's like, "Well, I want to see you do that, then come back and show me so that I can feel more comfortable with your spending because you're not talking to me about any of your spending." And he's like, "Well, you're always negative about any of my spending." And so they basically argue about his new tool. And he still hasn't even revealed to Taylor that he has invited his son to come and visit. All right, Taylor and Chance. I'm surprised I held it together because I was really mad at Chance. But hey, I'm gonna let y'all go. Taylor and Chance this week. Any thoughts?
I'll be short with it. Um, he's bad at spending. He's bad. He's bad at saving. He gets these cockamamie ideas and think those cockamamie ideas are going to solve everything. You're not thinking about the baby. You buying all this stuff, and we're still having to go to second, third, fourth hand. But meanwhile, you're trying to buy trucks and pressure washers that are fresh off the assembly line. You just have piss poor decision making. And if you're together, you're still making decisions that are not uniform decisions together. She's negative because you have a bad track record of your spending and what you do. And when you're together, it affects both of you. It's not like it just affects you. Now
Oh,
it's not like you and a child.
absolutely. Because I'm going to add in, she made the statement that now she's behind on her credit cards because he is not helping her out the way that he's supposed to. And she keeps having to pick the slack from him, which is causing her to fall behind. So it's a domino effect. You got to let her know what's going on.
That is right. You was already hiding bills, and you just went through the bills and saw that you didn't have enough, and you just sat here and spent another $400. Yes, you can make some money pressure washing, but first you got to get yourself established as a business. You got to get a clientele going. You just can't get a pressure washer and go. If you're doing driveways, you got to get extra accessories for that. You got to get the chemicals for that. It's not pressure washer. Not just you get it spray. All right, done. Give me $100. So again, this was piss poor planning. There's no time. You didn't even make a plan. You didn't even go look up stuff because the pressure washer he got. I have a pressure washer that's probably the similar power, bought brand new, and I paid under $300. So you just went and bought. You did no
Like
comparison shopping
400 and
or
something.
nothing. It's right. So I'm like, you did no comparison shopping or nothing. You didn't even look what kind of pressure washer you need for what you plan on doing. You probably overspent. You probably bought something bigger than what you needed. What you could have started smaller to do the business, then as the business grew, got something that size or even larger. You thought of none of that. So we as a disclaimer, we like to say that what's his name again? Chance?
Yeah, Chance.
That the ways and the mindset of decisions made by Chance do not reflect this man or any other man that's around today that is upon his self, and that the reflection of his what he does is claiming to be a man is not it. We don't do that.
Okay.
That's it.
I kind of agree with everything JC said. Not really much to add outside of I think what Taylor was saying was legit. Like at the moment, like I could understand it if they had the just the extra excuse me, extra money, or if he even had people saying, "Man, I wish there was somebody with a pressure washer in the neighborhood." He
Yeah.
went and grabbed it. Like, I'm gonna do it. People been asking about it. They've been saying, "Hey, pressure washers needed it. Need it."
Hmm.
HOA has been saying, "Hey, if people ain't pressure washer in their place, then we're gonna start finding." Without that, like, how do you know who needs their stuff pressure washed? You
Right.
come to my house with it. I'm gonna say I already got one. Like the one I like was like one something. Even if yours do more than me, I'm gonna probably try to use mine first. Second of
Mm-hmm.
all, most people don't pressure wash their houses and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so It's one of them things where are there driveways? It's like one of them things where if you don't have an HOA, you don't have nobody breathing on your neck, you're probably not even worried about it. So him saying he gonna make $700 in one day, I doubt it. Unless, like I said, people had signs up saying pressure washer needed. If not, like he's really wasting money that they could be using. Like she said, you spent 400 on that, but that could have bought a small. Well, they got a crib, but some diapers, some
Car
clothes,
seat.
car
Yeah.
seat, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so what are you doing? Like in reality, what are you doing? Especially, or he could have paid some of them bills. Because at the end of the day, if she marries him, her credit, she's saying her credit's messed up because she's not paying her bills. It's not even including the stuff he ain't paying because they're not married yet.
Yeah.
So if everything's in his name, it's going to be even worse when they get married because then it combines.
Yeah. And then I truly felt when she said, I was a single mother to 3
Mm-hmm.
children, and financially I was doing better. I felt that, and I said, and I'm thinking to myself, why can't you understand that or realize? Like, she is saying she was doing better without you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you are causing all of this on her right now. And
Mm-hmm.
she's pregnant.
And then the way he was like, well, fine, I won't do it again without talking to you. I'll ask you. And she was like, no, you won't. You'll say it after. And he was like, no, watch me. Even if you start that day, like, what was the problem with doing that in the first place? Like, if you're gonna make a big purchase, now I can see if you want to go buy you some jeans, you're gonna go buy a couple t-shirts from Walmart, you're gonna go over here and get a drill that costs like $30. Okay, I get that. But when you spending hundreds, at least talk to the person who you live in the house with. Y'all are sharing bills. Y'all are supposed to be supporting each other. Once your income start combining like that, then you have to actually be more realistic about it because you're affecting somebody with 3 kids. If you don't
Right.
care about your finances, at least pull your weight on the part that you told her you would pay. So if you said, I'll cover the rent, if you don't pay none of your bills, make sure you cover that rent.
Mm-hmm.
If you gotta cover that car note because like now this is the only car we got, then if you don't pay nothing else and you said I'm gonna make sure I pay my car note, then you pay your car note. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do stuff that is outside of what you promised because you're John. So if you want to check your credit all the way up to the point where you got a 1, do what you do, but pay what you're supposed to pay. Like she said, I want my house note paid and my electric on. Okay. And if you coming in and it's like you're important, the other things you promised you pay was the cable and the water, make sure that stuff is done so she ain't gotta worry about it. Simple as that. But other than that, I mean, he's selfish. Um,
He's very selfish.
I don't remember him talking about a son. Hopefully that all works out because I'm assuming she must know I'm assuming she knows because that's crazy if she don't. Hopefully she knows about it, and I don't know. I don't think she should be mad that he wants to see his son. Um,
But I think she may be mad if she finds out that he paid for the son to come.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's what he said he was going to do. He said he was
Yeah.
going to pay.
Well, he said he did pay. He already bought him a ticket when he was talking about it, and he didn't tell her nothing about that yet. So, in my opinion, when you're saying okay, fine, I'll tell you everything, I'd be like, also, I paid for my son a ticket to come out here. It's too late now. I already bought the ticket, so he's coming. But from now on, I would come to you first. That's what I would have did. Like, get it all out, because why have something else that y'all gonna fight about later?
Right.
Agreed. And I get you want to see your son. Not taking that away.
Yeah.
But what you gonna do when you get there? You already on broke. What y'all gonna eat? What y'all gonna do? At least say, son, I would love, like I said, he would love to see his son. And you ain't seen him in this many years. Not trying to be mean, but another week or two ain't gonna hurt till next payday. Um, you still got to take care of that. Your son is in a place where he's taken care of. You got to make sure that your wife to be and kid to be is going to be straight. Also, the reason why you haven't seen him is, you could have done something about that before you ended up in a bad situation. So now you're putting your family in a worse situation. See him. Hopefully he bought a round trip ticket because it'd be messed up. Your son come to visit. Now you ain't even got the money to buy him a ticket to go back. And then the son don't even have the money to travel right now. How old is the son anyway?
18.
Oh, 18. Okay, understandable then. He may not have it like that. Understandable. But there's no real structured plan there. And you get excited. It's kind of like, I don't know, but I get you just excited because you get to see him. But All of this is just as like he does with everything else, off the top of his head, piss poor planning, and then when it backfires, then it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do? How
Right.
many times you gonna bump your head for it? Realize like I need to stop and think first before I start hurting me and everyone around me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that was Chance and Taylor this week. The usual Chance blowing money, don't care. All right. So that was the show this week. Make sure you come and catch us next week for our review of the next show. Um, if you stayed this long, make sure you hit that like button and click the subscribe button if you haven't already. We'd love for you to become a part of our crew. And as always, until next time, friends, bye.